Before we get into the video, quick disclaimer, this is a bit of a shorter episode, I didn't have much time, and also I'm speaking without a script, so please excuse any stuttering or repetition you might hear. Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make chlorophyll out of nettles, and let's get right into it. The first thing you have to do is find your nettles, of course. So, what do you have to keep in mind there? Location. These are nettles, but they're growing right next to the path and right next to a field, which is pretty much the worst case because people walk their dogs here all the time. They could pee on that. There's insecticides, artificial fertilizers on there. This is all stuff you don't want in your nettles. These nettles, on the other hand, are a decent bit away from the path up there and protected from the field by this foliage. So they're much better to gather. No insecticides, no dog shit, nothing. So if you have the choice, gather these. That leads us to the second point, know your plant. What does a nettle even look like? Well, that's easy, you might say. Looks like this, which is false. This is a sister of the nettle known as white nettle. Note the white blossoms. Well, then you might say this is what a real nettle looks like. Also false. This is gold nettle. See the white patches on the leaves and the golden blossoms. Third time's the charm. Here's a real nettle. No blossoms, because real nettles don't have blossoms. They have seed pods which grow much later in the year. Here's a picture. Actual harvesting is pretty simple. Make sure to use gloves and only harvest the top 1, 2, 3 pairs of leaves. This allows the nettle to keep growing after you harvested it and leaves you with the freshest leaves. Now that you have your bag of nettles and probably got stung a few times in the process, here's the equipment you need. Small pot, second pot, something to measure water, sieve, a blender, paper towels. Go by the 3-step method: blend, heat, collect. Step 1, blend. Fill your big cup with nettles and pour in about 1 liter of water. Now you can just start blending. You know when you're done, the liquid is brown with a hint of green and the pieces are too small to pick them out with a fork. After 30 seconds of blending, you should end up with something like this. Once that is the case, simply refill with leaves until you blended them all. Once you've blended all the leaves, you can simply strain it through a sieve straight into your pot, like this. Make sure to use a fine sieve so none of the pieces get through. For step 2, heat, you want to gently heat your pot. Don't bring it to a boil, because the dye is not heat stable and will fall apart. When your liquid turns clear, you know it's too hot. Any heat source works, but I, for example, don't recommend open flames because the heat is really hard to control. Maybe use a spoon to get rid of some of the foam. Now comes the boring part, waiting. Maybe stir it a little bit, make sure it doesn't boil, and after about 30 minutes or so, your chlorophyll should be ready to extract. Now that enough time has passed, we come to the last step, which is extraction. Simply take your helldivers and lead them over to the extraction site. Wait, no, that's the wrong kind of extraction. Show me the other footage, please. Take a small sieve or a spoon and gently move it across. Shake a little to get rid of the water, and in there you have beautiful green chlorophyll. Yes, it's not that much right now, but with a little persistence, you'll quickly get loads and loads of it. After another 30 minutes or so, you'll have fished out all the chlorophyll. You can see it, the sieve's not picking any out anymore. A little bit, but not really worth mentioning. So when that is done, you can simply discard the liquid. It's worthless now. Down the drain it goes. Before we get to testing it out, let me just explain to you how this works on a small scale. This is a nettle cell, and these little lines are the chlorophyll. Now by blending it, we cut through the cell and allow the chlorophyll to escape in the surrounding water. Then, by straining it, We allow the chlorophyll to go into the water because it's small enough to fit through the sieve, while all the other pieces stay up. And last but not least, by heating it, we ensure that the chlorophyll gets hot, and because heat rises, the chlorophyll goes to the surface where we can easily just take it off. And now for probably the most interesting part, why would you spend hours making these green lumps? Well, first of all, they are completely edible and very healthy, so they act as natural food coloring that also boosts your diet. A list of the properties of sting nettles is listed here. And second of all, it is a very potent dye, so you can get something like this on paper, or something like this, or if you heavily dilute it, you get just this hint of green on your paper. And probably the coolest thing, this also works on your skin. Here's a picture I made with chlorophyll, by the way. So that's about it for today. Have a good day, night, afternoon, whatever. Remember to go outside, drink some water, eat some food, and see you next time.